Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Katie from Mitza Creek Farm. Today is a big day in the high tunnel. We are getting, or I am, getting the plants ready for the plant sale and getting this all set up for the plant sale. And over here, we've started getting ready for planting in here. I started this without even thinking of recording it, but we got a row tilled. This is going to be where some tomatoes are, and I have some compost added to it. I'm going to add a little bit of organic slow release fertilizer, rake it all in where the line is, so that we can maybe get tomatoes planted today. I don't know, that might be a stretch. I might need to plant them tomorrow. But while the boys are working on some fencing projects, which you saw in the previous video, I am down here getting this ready to plant. First things first, I have to get all of these moved so that we can use the doors to get more compost put in here, because once I get the table set up for the plant sale, I don't want to have to move everything a gazillion times. And so I want to have some loads of compost brought in here with the tractor, and then that way I can still work in here. Well, that is all set up and ready to go. Got the plants almost all moved. We have this tray here, and then I still have some up at the house. So I think the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move this tarp down, and then I'm gonna start putting, I already did the compost for that row of tomatoes, so then I'm gonna do some fertilizer, get it all raked in, and then possibly find some row cover for that. I'm looking for my slow release fertilizer. I can't find it anywhere, but I want to show you what I did the other day. It doesn't look like much, but I got started on Beck's flower bed here. I got some pansies because they are cool weather loving. And in the front here, there are some, I believe those are irises, but I'm not 100% certain. And then there are lots of the white Alaskan daisies. They're very prolific. They are spreading, and they're white daisies. Started off with just like one or two bunches in here, and it's kind of spread along the bottom, which is perfect. So I want to try to, as his interest change and that kind of stuff, I want to try to put in more perennials in here so that it's less work I have to do as he decides he does or does not want to keep this maintained. I weeded almost all of this. I have this section left, but I put down slow release fertilizer because we are not adding compost to this year. And then I planted echinacea in a row along, you can see it there. And so then these pansies here, and then these are celosia. And so I have celosia along the top. And then he always likes to get cosmos, dahlia, and zinnias and put in here. So then that still leaves quite a bit of space for those. If we could get the echinacea to get established, that would be wonderful, because then that is something that blooms almost all summer and would spread and look pretty in here. It's the multicolored Cheyenne Spirit. I absolutely love them. So that would be perfect. So that is my hope, but I don't see my fertilizer down here. My pear tree is starting to come alive, which is wonderful. The apples are still kind of delayed a bit, but this one is starting to show some signs of life. It's really sad when we're excited about the buds growing just a little tiny bit, but it just has been that kind of year. It's been cold and nasty, so any signs of spring, we will take it. I have searched all over and I couldn't find it. I just found it. It's sitting right there. I was outside, I was in the greenhouse, everywhere. And so I just found it. I really like the Espoma slow release organic fertilizer for vegetables and plants. I have a big bag of that down in my little greenhouse, but when I needed it earlier this spring, I couldn't get in there because there's so much snow. So I bought this Miracle Grow Performance one, and I'll admit I bought it because of the cap and because of this container. So when I finish this container, I'm actually going to take off this label and then just write Espoma on it. Because it's really easy to shake out of here. And it looked like it was a similar product to Espoma just by like the shape and everything. But I do like the Espoma products. I'm liking this Miracle Grow. We'll see. I've been using it as I pot up plants and they're looking good. So I have no complaints. It doesn't seem to be damaging anything. They're growing well, so that is good. The Espoma is more of a smaller company. And all of their stuff is organic, so I really like that. And I have to move my line that I was using so that I would have a straight line. Gotta get that up, moved, and now I'm gonna rake this all in. This is starting to dry out, but you can see that there's my line of compost. It's probably 3 to 6 inches deep in some areas. I started kind of raking it in some, like right kind of in the center there. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to shake this. This is the cool lid, and it just kind of spreads it out for you. So I'm just going to shake like this. See if I can shake and film at the same time. Let me switch hands. There we go. So I'm just going to shake it. And it makes it so it doesn't all pour out at once and it just kind of spreads out. I'm trying to remember what was next on my list. I need to get this stuff here out of the center so that we can get the tractor in for the compost. I'm going to dump the compost kind of right over there where that tarp is, that green tarp. And then from there, I think we can start setting up the tables for the plant sale, I think. I felt like there was one more thing I needed to do that was kind of like a fairly big project. Not quite sure. But I got that ready for ground cover. So that is super exciting. Maybe Owen can find me one of the tomato ones so that I can roll it out. I will be thrilled when I get tomatoes in the ground. I'm so excited for that. All right, there we go. I have to take the extension cord that is running the blower fan. I actually have to run all the way down here and then over into the wall so that it can go to the outlet. But I'm gonna wait to do that because I don't want to disconnect the blower and then have to climb behind all these plants. I should have done that first. So I'm gonna wait to do that until we get ready to bring the compost in, because that's where the compost is going. So I'm gonna unplug it when the compost comes in, and then once the compost is dumped, plug it back in, and then once all the plants are moved, then I can go and I can run it. Then that way I'm not breaking anything, ruining anything, because that would be my luck, is that a whole bunch of these plants would get ruined. So now I just need to go talk the boys into getting me a load of compost in here. It's the next day. By the time we moved the cows, which you guys saw in the previous video, it started raining, and Lily had a formal at school to go to, and so we stopped for the night. And so now here we are the next day, and Beck is going to grab a load of this for me, and he's going to work in here a little bit to try to level out some of this, because this is all manure and hay from the winter. And he got that far into the gate and the tractor ran out of gas. So he is off to go get gas, and then we're going to get going on getting this compost from here and from over there and get it brought into the high tunnel. Everyone is all happy over on this side. So that is good. And just like that, a thunderstorm brings us to a halt. I'm running down to close up the high tunnel and get everything shut in case we get high winds. But it feels good to have our first real good thunderstorm of the year. Beck brought in 3 loads of compost for me, so that is great. The pile is a lot bigger in person than it looks on the camera, but that should be what I need to do the amendments for all the rows in here. So that is amazing. And while the plant sale is going on, when people aren't here, I can work on getting things planted and getting rows done. But we got lots of things done today, and that feels wonderful. That is it for today's video. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you next time.